in his first year in New England, played 16 games, had 1,493 yards, and caught 23 touchdown passes. His first year in New England. Dominated. Went on subsequently to have a couple of more 1,000-plus yard seasons, 13 touchdowns, 11 touchdowns. Randy Moss has had years of 13 touchdowns and 17, 10, 15, has 17 touchdowns his first year. The best wide receiver I've ever seen. And people always think that I'm taking a shot at Jerry Rice or whatever, man. It's got nothing to do with Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice is a phenomenal receiver, a technician out there at wide receiver. But I'm not passing up 6'5", 4'2", 4'3", low 4'3", 40, that can jump out of the gym, that could run any route, that sometimes was double, triple teamed, routinely double teamed, triple teamed a lot of time, and still came down with catches and still produced. One thing I always ask anybody when you talk about this Randy Moss, Jerry Rice conversation is I don't ever remember Jerry Rice being routinely triple teamed. I don't. Maybe he was double teamed, but Randy Moss, it was a prerequisite that you have two men on Randy Moss. You had a corner and you had a safety shading over the top. And a lot of times they'd bring like a strong safety or they'd bring like a linebacker just to trail him underneath. Triple coverage on that ninja. Unstoppable. Unstoppable. There's no other way to say it. He was unstoppable. And if I was picking my team on the playground, I'd take Randy Moss from Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. What up, Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast? Trey or Maestro? I don't know which one it is. If Watson falls in number 5 through 7, I can see the Jets taking him at number 6. Jets are rebuilding. Even the coach acts like he wants to win now. That's a good fit. That's a good fit if you're talking about the New York Jets and where they draft in the draft and where they got right now. Geno Smith, I read a story about Geno Smith saying that he would be okay in being a backup quarterback. So we'll see. If you look at the top 10 picks again, once again, Buffalo, I don't know about that. I would like to see what Cardale Jones can do. And if Buffalo takes Deshaun Watson at number 10, they've seen enough to think that he can't be the guy in the NFL. I don't think so. I would give Cardale Jones a shot if they're not going to go with Tyrod Taylor. Number 9, the Cincinnati Bengals. They're not going to draft the quarterback there. Andy Dalton's still the guy there. He probably has a couple more years left in the tank. Number 8, the Carolina Panthers. No way, no how. They got Cam Newton. Number 7, the Los Angeles Chargers. Not going to happen because they just drafted the Jared Goff kid last year, so they're going to give him another year or two. Jets make sense. Tennessee Titans not going to happen because they have a young quarterback already. The Jacksonville Jaguars with Blake Bortles. Is the Blake Bortles experiment over? Has regressed over the last couple of years. Really, really regressed last year. I've read some stories where they're starting to question him going forward. The Chicago Bears, they need a quarterback. That's an easy, obvious fit right there. Jay Cutler is not the answer. They're trying to look for a deal for him. So the Chicago Bears is a perfect fit. The San Francisco 49ers need a quarterback as well. And the Cleveland Browns, they need a quarterback, but they're probably not going to do it. There's 4, 5 different teams in the top 10 that need a quarterback. Simple as that. The reason why Jared Goff was taken so high last year, the reason why Carson Wentz was taken so high last year is because they needed a quarterback. Every year you hear this thought about a team needing a quarterback. Based on need, they need a quarterback. They need a lot of other things, but you're not going to go far if you don't have a quarterback. That's all we've ever been told in our life. There's 5 teams in the first 10 picks that need a stinking quarterback. Okay? There's 5 teams in the first 10 picks that need a quarterback. And Deshaun Watson shouldn't even go number 10 to the Buffalo Bills. He should go much higher. They need a quarterback. There's 5 teams need a quarterback. I don't know for the life of me how you would look at Trubisky, who's been a one-year starter. I don't know how you look at the Trubisky kid in North Carolina, which I don't know what they've done. It can't be a lot. What they've done in bowl season and what he did in relative terms to a comparison to what Deshaun Watson's done, why it's even a question. I don't get that at all. But it is what it is. You know what it is. From Grego X Squad, we have a pretty red bow tie on Jimmy Garoppolo for the Bears. Cough up those picks. Please, Chicago Bears, don't trade for Jimmy Garoppolo. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. From Grego X Squad, Phillip Rivers said he wants out. From Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast, golf is with the Rams, Doug. LA Clippers could, or LA Chargers could definitely draft the quarterback Rivers may want out of the Chargers organization. Yeah, we mentioned how the Rams already got their quarterback in golf. I don't know. Maybe the Chargers start to build for the future. You're right. Very good point. Phillip Rivers has talked about not wanting to move and make the move to L.A. with the Chargers. He's old as Methuselah as well. Maybe you do draft the quarterback for the future. Deshaun Watson in a San Diego Chargers uniform would look really, really nice. To quote the great Bernie Mac, nice. That's a good point. So make that 6 teams out of the top 10. I kind of glossed over the Chargers. Because, Phillip Rivers. But you're right. You're right. Phillip Rivers is old. And maybe the Chargers try to make a move for him at number 7 and taking Deshaun Watson. We're going to keep our eyes on all of this, obviously. We always watch the draft intently. So we'll definitely be talking about this a lot more over the next couple of months. Really getting to the conversation this week with the NFL Combine going down. Draft right around the corner as well, man. Can't wait. From Rail the Intern Scott, he says ESPN and the experts, quote-unquote experts, have been hyping up less talented, overhyped white quarterbacks for decades. This shouldn't come as a surprise. Hashtag UNC quarterback. Nah, it's not a surprise. And I said that, let's be honest about it, man. Let's be honest about it. It's not only it's the theme, it's the narrative of how a quarterback is supposed to look, which, again, is 6'4", 235 pounds, and white. I mean, over the history of this league, we know that. We know the conversations about black quarterbacks having opportunities. It really hit home this weekend when I went to this HBCU Hall of Fame induction ceremonies. I saw Doug Williams there, who looks like he can still play right now. But we know the deal. And also part of that conversation as well is, suppressing athleticism most of the time, a lot of times. You have to sit back in the pocket. You have to stand back there. You can't look to run. You can't look to use your God-given ability. That's dumb as shit. It's dumb. It's really, really dumb, man. And I hate, and things are changing. It's getting a lot better, obviously. We've talked about it many, many times, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show and what Mike Vick meant in being drafted number 1 in the NFL by the Atlanta Falcons, what it meant to dual threat quarterbacks. It was big. It inspired a whole generation of young quarterbacks to play the position, to use their athleticism, and believe that their production can get them drafted into the NFL. Not just drafted into the NFL, but the first round. Not just the first round, but the first pick in the draft. That's why I always say, man, Vic, the domino effect of Mike Vick and where he went and the success that he had, maybe not to the degree that a lot of people thought that he would have in the NFL, but the success that Mike Vick had in his brand and his star in the NFL and around football for 15 years was immeasurable. Okay? And once again, just really, really, made a big impression on a lot of these quarterbacks that you're seeing today that are getting opportunities. I believe for the most part because of him. There were dual threat quarterbacks that played before him, but that inspired these, run of dual-threat quarterbacks that we've seen so prevalent, especially in college football over the last couple of years, now in the NFL, running these spread offenses, your Russell Wilsons of the world, your Cam Newtons of the world, your Colin Kaepernicks of the world, all of that came from MV7. So that's part of the conversation as well. Deshaun Watson falls right in that category. Deshaun Watson can tuck the ball and run. Now, he does sit back in the pocket a lot more than some of the other guys that I just mentioned. But Deshaun Watson's a great athlete. He's a great athlete. And he's getting an opportunity, man. He should go high. Should be the number one quarterback taken over some Mitch Trubisky cat. That's crazy to me. But Deshaun Watson's going to get an opportunity. And really, at the end of the day, it'll be fine one way or the other. No matter where he gets drafted at, he's going to be able to show what he can do on the field. Dabo Swinney thinks that the kid is special. That's the term that he's used for him. He's a winner. And if teams pass up on him, they're going to regret it down the road. Just like so many teams, 32 teams in 3 different rounds. And based on where Dak Prescott was taken, are regretting not taking Dak Prescott if they needed a quarterback. So the kid's going to be fine, man. But it's some bullshit where he gets drafted if he goes late. Oh, okay, so I see what I did now. When I talked about the top 10 earlier, I mentioned the Los Angeles Chargers, confusing them with the Los Angeles Rams. But, yeah, the Rams have Jared Goff, and the Chargers got Phillip Rivers. But Phillip Rivers, he probably does need an understudy. He probably does. Sounds like that he was, contemplating retiring now. Phillip Rivers got like 15, 11 kids. Y'all know that? Y'all know Phillip Rivers got like a gaggle of kids? He got a ton of kids or whatever. I don't know if he's Catholic or Mormon or whatever, but he got an ass of children. And supposedly this big family guy, and he likes San Diego. He's been there his entire career. And so he had this big problem with uprooting his family and moving to Los Angeles. So it almost sounded like in stories this summer or this offseason, so far this offseason, that Phillip Rivers is, not too enthralled about going and playing in Los Angeles. Once again, he's old. So, that's a perfect fit. That's a perfect fit. The Chargers at number 7. That history of quarterbacks, Dan Fouts, Phillip Rivers, even they had Drew Brees for a minute and let him go. That was a big mistake. But, yeah, I like that. Deshaun Watson to the Chargers. The Bears, there's been a lot of talk, and Grego's been talking about it, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Browns not going to do it. San Francisco probably not going to do it. And I'll tell you why a little bit later when we talk about Kirk Cousins. Chicago, there's this talk about them doing a deal for Garoppolo for some reason. And none of this may happen. Jacksonville, an investment in Blake Bortles, but he struggled. Tennessee, no. Mariota's there. The Jets and the Chargers are 6 or 7. He should not make it past 6 or past 7. As much as I would like for them to give Geno Smith an opportunity to start there in New York for the Jets, that doesn't look like it's going to happen. That's neither here nor there in this conversation. The Jets at number 6 and the Chargers at number 7, he should not get past the Chargers at number 7. Quarterback of the future. All right? When we get back from the break, man, we'll read some of your messages in the chat room on Spreaker.com. And we'll talk about that Kirk Cousins thing as well. Tribute Tuesday, Cameo, doing what we do. This is the Doug Stewart Show.
Can't believe that you hurt me that